Iogen, and Iogen is the energy management platform that you guys will be using as part of the Southwark Climate Collective. And the aim is for you guys to be able to visualize your energy consumption as you progress your journey through Southwark Climate Collective. And I think you will have access to this. Remind me again, Mim, up until when? I should remember on top of my head, but I can't remember, but we will get that out to you guys. But I think you have access to it for a full year or something like that. And yeah, so the idea is it's the place where you can track your consumption. So because your journey through the Southern Climate Collective involves, us capturing the data, then putting it on iGen, and then you guys getting your energy audit and then your energy audit report. And from your energy audit report, you will have recommendations that are customized through each of your businesses. And the idea is as you implement any of those energy measures that were recommended on your report, you can go back to Iogen as well to tell that team what measures you've implemented. So that's what we're covering today. So from monitoring your consumption via Iogen and also updating your measures through Iogen. So I'm going to quickly share my screen now. And let me know once you can see my screen. I'm going to minimize you guys as well so that we can have a full screen. So I know, Melody, you mentioned you're from Big Hand, and I had a quick look, and I know you're live on iGen. Jules, I forgot to ask where you're from, but welcome anyway. I'm hoping you all have seen your dashboards by now. This is what it will look like. Although saying that from today, this will change from the, January this year to 2024. But just for the purposes of this demo, we're keeping it for 2023. So as soon as you log on to Iogen, you will be welcome with your dashboard. There are a few key elements in here. So you have these 4 main big widgets in here. So you've got your electricity, you've got your gas, you've got your carbon equivalent, and you've got your costs. Now, electricity and gas are the main ones we're tracking, but if your site is an all-electric site, or we don't have gas data for you guys, then you will only see electricity, carbon, and cost. Now, if you think that's wrong and that we should be tracking gas as well, please do let us know so that we can take that data and upload it to Iogen. Now, talking about this widgets, so they're pretty much the same apart from what they're monitoring. So we'll talk about the electricity one. So what you have here is what we call a digital meter. And what this does is it's a quick visual indicator of how you guys are doing or how your business is doing in terms of your electricity usage or gas usage this year versus last year. So this just takes your data from this year and then versus that with last year, and then it gives you that percentage. Then it also shows you your year-to-date consumption. So as an example for this demo site, year-to-date, so that's January to December, the site has used 201,790 kilowatt-hour. And then versus last year, this is the variance or the difference between this year versus last year. So this is showing minus 589.9 kilowatt-hour. So a green negative number is an underspend, or meaning a saving, and a red number is an overspend, which you can see in here. Then you just have this little chart in here that shows your consumption. Again, like what I said, from today, we're going to be switching this to the 2024 view. And what we're asking is, if you look at your dashboard today and you see that you haven't got any data for 2024, please do start entering those. And I'm going to show you how to enter those as well. And we're also going to be sending you regular monthly reminders for that. But just going back to the dashboard, so everything is exactly the same for all the other ones. The only difference between the carbon equivalent and cost is with the carbon equivalent, we take your raw kilowatt-hour consumption data for electricity and gas. We multiply that with the coefficients published by the UK government, and then that becomes your carbon equivalent for your consumption. And with the costs, if you have submitted a cost to us, I guess we would be using your actual cost But if not, there is an agreed rate that we're using to populate this cost section in here. Everything that you see in here, you can click. So when you click on this, you get to a more in-depth reporting of how you're consuming, how your building is consuming. You've got a few tools here that you can use to switch between different utilities. So if you've got gas, you can do that. You can do costs as well if you want to. You can also export any of this data. So say, for example, you want to report to the finance team, just as an example, you can toggle and click on this button in here, and you can export the data into a Excel spreadsheet or a CSV. Now, the other thing you can do as well is you've got a couple of filters in here. So if you just want to do current year as an example, then you can do that. And another one that is quite useful is this last icon in here allows you to export anything that you see in here into a photo. So say, for example, you want to start engaging with your colleagues. I don't know, we've had examples before with the BCC wherein they take a screenshot of their consumption and share it into their newsletter to the business, just sort of get people encouraged in being more aware of how they're doing. So those are the main functionalities of Iogen that you will be using as part of the BCC. There's a lot more to it, but obviously this is just a run through of what you can do with Iogen. Now, if you remember earlier, I mentioned about entering your meter readings. So later on today, when you log on to Iogen and you see that you haven't got any readings for this year, all you need to do is to click on this link that says meter card. So if you click on meter card, it will tell you exactly what meter you need to enter the readings for. So in here, I can only see 1 meter. So that means the other meters are automatically flowing into our worlds. The data are automatically flowing to our world. So there will be some of you wherein we've got a letter of authority submitted, which means we are automatically collecting data from your supplier. And that's only possible if you've got half hourly meters. So if you haven't got half hourly meters, we can't automatically connect your data. You will have to enter them manually onto Iogen on a monthly basis. Or, if the meter is located somewhere safe or easily accessible, you can even try doing it weekly or, fortnightly if you want to, however frequency you want to do. And to do that, all you need to do is, like what I said, click on the meter card, enter the moment that you are entering the reading for, if that makes sense. So say, for example, you're entering, so today's the 1st of May, which is perfect. And let's say you've done a reading for today for your April consumption. All you need to do is to put in the date. You can also do this retrospectively. So say, for example, you have readings from January. So you can just change the calendar date to the 1st of January and then enter the readings in here. I'm not going to do that. Well, to be fair, I can do that because this is just a demo. So the last reading here is the 30th of the 1st. So let's pretend I have another reading for the 1st of February. And let's say that the reading is 5,000 kilowatt hour. Now, you can see here, what I've entered here is not a reading per se. This is a actual kilowatt hour consumption figure, 5,000. Now, to tell the difference between what you need to enter, you need to look into this meter type. If the meter type says values, that means the data you submitted to us initially were kilowatt hour consumption values. So meaning you probably went to your bill, pick up the number of what you were paying for, and that's what you submitted to us. Now, if you sent us meter readings, so meaning you've got readings straight from the meter, this will say counter. So those are the two things to look out for. And once you're confident that you are entering the right figure, all you need to do is click enter. And what will happen then is when you go into your dashboard, it should automatically just calculate that for your consumption. So that is the meter card. That is one of the functions that you will be using a lot on Iogen. Now, the other function that you will be using as you progress, like what we said, into your journey to the Southwark Climate Collective is updating us with your energy measures. So we have this icon in here that says update energy measures. And the moment to do this is as soon as you receive your energy audit reports, we get copied to that. And what we do is we extract everything that has been recommended to your business. And as you progress through those measures and you've started implementing those, what our request will be to go to IOGEN, click on here, update energy measures. So the only problem that I have here, because this is a demo site, I should have done a few recommendations, but let's pretend I have some recommendations in here. You will see the list of standard recommendations that the team from Turner and Townsend are using. So you have here, as an example, encourage staff to adopt sustainable energy practices, install LED lighting with intelligent controls and all that stuff. You will also see the status. So at the minute, this is all saying unknown just because this is a demo site. But if this is your site and say, for example, one of these measures was recommended for you, so say install LED lighting with intelligent controls, you will see that it's recommended. And what you need to do is say, for example, you now have implemented these recommendations. All you need to do is to click on it, change the status from recommended to implemented. Tell us the date when you've implemented it. So this is quite important because then we can help you track your actual savings. So especially for things that affects your consumption massively, like installing LED lighting, if you give us the exact date, what the system can do then is track that date and then your consumption going forward, and then we can prove your savings in essence. So implementation date is very important for us. And then there is a text field here for completeness. And what this means is, did you fully implement what was recommended? So say, for example, you're on a 2-story office building, and you were recommended to install LED lighting for both the first and the second floor, but you've only done, let's say, second floor due to budget. So then you can just do here 50%. And then you can tell us the investment that you've used to implement the 50% of the LED lighting, and any comments that you can want to put in here. So you can say here, for example, only implemented 50% due to cost, as an example. We'll implement the rest next year. You can do that and then just click save, and that's it. That allows you then also to remember when you've installed something. Now, if I could just quickly go back to here, you will also see here there are different other state of implementation here. There is a not implemented. So again, in our experience previously, there might be some energy recommendations that were given to you, but you thought it wasn't the right time. Let's say install solar PV as an example. You can say not implemented. There is also a status for alternatives. So say, for example, you've been asked to install a certain type of heating, but then you opted to go for a different one. So you can say alternative. Now, you also have the option to anything that wasn't recommended to you. So let's say, for example, encourage staff to adopt sustainable energy practices. Let's say this wasn't implemented, so it's saying unknown, but you implemented it anyway. So you could still put it as implemented. So this is the reason why we put all of these measures on your dashboard so that you have the ability to tell us what you have implemented or not. And that's it. And then all you have to do is click save. And yeah, another thing you will also find in here is the main document. I don't think I've put in here, but you should see here documents. So anything, so I haven't uploaded that one there, but if your energy audit report you've received it, we also store it in here. So you will see it under the document section, which is found. You will see that link in here. And yeah, that's mainly the bulk of what you're going to be doing on iGen. Obviously, there's a lot more energy management side of things that it can do. But for the purposes of today's session, we're just showing you a quick run through on how you're going to use iOGen for the Southwark Climate Collective. And I'm handing back to Mim. stop sharing now. Suppose we can do some questions.
Yeah, I think let's do some Q&A. There was just one in the chat. I don't know if you saw it, Jad. Alexander.
Am I able to add historic values in when I have added new values? It puts today's date and can. Yes. So I don't know if you've missed the bit where we can retrospectively change the date time picker on the Iogen. So I can quickly re-show that. Bear with 1 sec. So when you're on your meter card, so this is that section wherein you enter your readings. Now I'm in the main Southwark Climate Collective. So let me just switch back to my demo site. Start with. Once you're here, this date time picker in here, it can do retrospective dates. So all you need to do is go back to the date that you need to enter your readings. So 2024 1/1 as an example. You enter your reading and then hit enter, and that's it.
Thanks, Jad. And somebody's got a hand up. It's Emily.
Yes, hi. Thanks so much, Jed. I was just wondering if you're expecting to see an increase in energy consumption, like for example, we've just introduced like a new tooling in our workshop that will increase energy consumption. And so when we implement these initiatives, what would be like the way that you would essentially capture the savings then? Instead, would you kind of go ahead with understanding how much this new tooling is consuming, or like what way would you approach it?
So what I would suggest, and this is something I didn't show, and but let me quickly share my screen again. What you also have on Iogen is when you go to reports. So say, for example, in your instance, you introduced a new tooling in February, and then this is when you expect your consumption to go higher than normal. What I would suggest you do is on Iogen that we have this functionality for notes section in here. You click on notes and click new note, and then just select the date, and then you just say installed new equipment. And what that does then is it marks, so similar to the measures, it marks that date where you've said you've installed that equipment. And what we can do then when we start reviewing your consumption, if we see that your consumption is higher rather than it going down, and we refer back to the notes sections in here, which is called log, then we would know there's a reason behind it, if that makes sense. So that is an effective way to just track anything, not just your measures, but also anything that changes through your building. So it could be like what you said, introducing new equipment, or maybe an equipment that's broken for, we've experienced this as well before, where we had an equipment that was broken for like 6 months, so our consumption was super low, and then suddenly it was fixed, and then your consumption is quite high up again. So anything that you feel like relates to your consumption, and or that will affect your consumption, just feel free to add them as notes in here, so that when when the team is doing the review, we are well informed of what's going on onto your site.
And is there another way to look at it, like from like an energy efficiency perspective rather than reduction, if we're going to see an increase in consumption and we want to still kind of show our progress against sort of reducing our overall emissions, or like increasing efficiency in these kind of things?
There are ways we can do that. The first question that I have is, what type of meter do you have for your business? If it's a half-hourly meter, then we have a lot of calculations we can do. So we can factor in the footage of your building. Then we could factor in how you were consuming this year versus last year, and then we can isolate that excess consumption if we know exactly when that equipment is installed. So yeah, there's a lot of calculations we can do for that. It's just a case of knowing what data can we play with. So especially if you've got a half-hourly meter, that would be really handy.
Yeah, we don't for the previous year. I think we've installed 2 now, so we're almost like covered in the whole building, but not previous year data. That's going to be difficult for us, but we can discuss that maybe another time.
Yeah. No, definitely. Yeah.
All right. Cool. Thank you so much.
Any other questions? Has everybody got access? Is there anyone who hasn't yet got access?
I don't believe we've got access yet, Mem.
From business, are you from, Jules?
A smart group.
Okay, it doesn't ring a bell yet, so that means we may not have configured it yet, or we may not have seen the energy data yet, but we will. We do normally do a sweep up every week of all the new, well, not new, but all the documents that are on the drive. So I'll have a look at that this week, and then I'll drop you a note with your login. Yeah.
Yes, I know that I was away for quite a bit of time, so it's something therefore.
That's all right. We'll do sweep up of the drive, and then we'll find all the data.
Perfect. And then equally, in terms of like the letter of authority, that's something first, or how do you go about that?
Sorry, you're quite quiet, and you broke up a bit there.
Yeah, sorry. Mentioned the letter of authority, but we do have half-hourly meters. That's something that you can send us to complete, or how does that work?
I think as part of your application, you have a template that was given to you. So if you haven't got it, I'm pretty sure the team could send that to you. So just fill in the letter of authority, put it in your company headed paper, send it back to us, and then we'll start speaking to your energy suppliers.
Amazing, thank you.
You're happy to resend that to you, Jules, that's fine. Okay, everybody else happy? Any further questions? Well, we have Jed. Nope. If we're all good, I think we can close off then. The final thing to say is do register for our energy training session on Tuesday, the 14th of May. It's an online one, so you can just dial in. It'll be an hour, I believe, run by Temple. So that session will be all about sort of how to utilize the data that you have access to, looking at different metrics, understanding sort of the link between carbon emissions, going through a carbon accounting exercise, this sort of stuff. So hopefully that will be a good one to register for and join. Other than that, I will leave you all to crack on with your day.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, everybody. I'll make this online available later. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks, Jed.